Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or should I say good morning, because in theory right now we are at 12:45 a.m. Yes, you heard me right. We are shooting a video in the middle of the night in the Faculty of Language and Communication, because there's a studio here and that's the reason why. So, we are shooting a vlog actually today entitled 5 Scariest Urban Legends in Malaysia, which is one of the main reasons why we chose this hour to shoot, because it will catch the eerie sensation that we want when we are talking about a scary urban legend in Malaysia. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us take you down to the memory lane of a studio that we have called Sonic Studio. Let's go! So ladies and gentlemen, this is our studio. Let's get into it. Hello guys. So guys, these are my crew members, my cameraman, Mr. Kasyfil, as well as my set director, as well as the stage manager, Miss Aishah Hani. So ladies and gentlemen, let us show you how we shoot the video by showing you what we are gonna shoot.
Okay, scene. The next scene will be about Toyo.
Okay.
So stay calm. Just do your best, okay?
Alright, sure, no problem. Alright, thanks, Aishah.
Take the camera.
Okay.
Take 5, scene 5, and action.
So ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Toyol. Urban legends in Malaysia are spooky as hell. And what's the better time to talk about these scary stories than the month of Spooktober? Or for the nerds, it's October. Welcome to All You Can Know, a show that talks about everything informative and wacky, like myself. My name is Singh, and today we'll be talking about the 5 scariest Malaysian urban legends. Number 5. The Yellow Volkswagen of Karak Highway. Many Malaysians believe that the old Karak Highway, or in some cases even the new Karak Highway, is the most haunted road in the entirety of Malaysia. This is due to the fact that the Karak Highway has the highest accident rate in the entirety of Malaysia. Aside from reports of some spooky feeling when you're driving down the road, some reports also say that there are some scary sightings or stories about that road itself. Possibly the most infamous story of them all is of the yellow Volkswagen. The story goes like this. When you're driving down the old Karak Highway, you will find that there is a car right in front of you, a yellow Volkswagen. When you're right behind it, it will start to slow down, even at times at a snail's pace, forcing you to overtake the car. After a while, when you're driving down the road, you will see a car in front of you once again. And when you get closer to it, it's the same yellow car, where it will start to slow down again and you will be forced to overtake it, and it will go on again and again and again. After a while, you'll start to realize that it's actually the same car when you first overtook it, a yellow Volkswagen. And what is even more creepy is that when you realize that there is actually no one driving the car. The only way to stop the cycle is by not overtaking it. There are even at times when you try to overtake it, the car will speed off and disappear into the darkness. But some reports claim that when you try to overtake it, the car would swerve right to your direction, causing you to lose control of your car. You would then crash right through the highway barrier and plunge straight to your death. This is why many people claim that the accidents that occur in the Karak Highway is because of the yellow Volkswagen. At number 4 on our list, we have the DJ. This urban legend is not very well known to many Malaysians, and it revolves around a radio DJ. In the late 90s, listeners were able to call in a radio station and share their own ghost stories. In one particular night, a radio DJ received a call from a man who wants to share his own ghost story. The man stated that he was driving down a highway with his parents, his wife, and their child. He saw that they were all sleeping in the backseat of his car, and he too was feeling sleepy, so he thought that he wants to stop by at a rest stop to get some rest. He then saw a large truck on the opposite side of the road heading towards his direction. On his lane, however, he was baffled by this behavior and immediately honked his horn. The truck passed by him at a great amount of speed. He thought that it was just a drunk driver heading on his way home. After a while, he noticed a truck once again on his lane coming straight at him. He honked his horn, and that's when he realized that it was actually the same truck. It sped past by him again, and he was starting to get a bit nervous. And then It happened again and again and then again. It kept on happening for a while, and each time even more shocking and heart-wrenching than the previous one. Then something changed. A pair of lights flashed behind his car, and he noticed that it was actually the same truck. The truck was now actually chasing the man. The man immediately sped his car and tried not to panic. After that, the truck disappeared. The man was relieved. After he came over a hill, he saw a pair of lights once again and noticed it was the same large truck heading towards him. He violently swerved his car to avoid collision, but immediately crashed right through the highway barrier straight into a deep gully. He stated that his family was killed in the crash. He sounded distraught. Then the man told the DJ that the crash also took his life. He then hung up the phone. The DJ was confused and laughed it off, thinking it was just a prank. The next day, however, when he was reading through his newspaper, he saw a story in the front page. It was describing about an accident that had occurred in a nearby highway, matching the exact details of the caller the previous night. He then saw the casualty list. An elderly couple, a husband, a wife, and their baby. The DJ was stunned. He felt the hair on the back of his neck stand up. He immediately rushed to the studio to play back the audio from the previous night, and all he found was nothing but silence. Coming at number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of the oily man, or better known as Orang Minyak. In the Malaysian folklore, the Orang Minyak is a supernatural entity that is called upon by an evil witch doctor. It can cover itself with a black, oily substance which practically makes it invisible, difficult to catch, and makes breaking and entering houses extremely easy. The Orang Minyak has the ability to crawl on side of the walls as well as buildings, and once it's on the top of those buildings, it can leap from rooftop to rooftop. Some people say that the Orang Minyak is the Malaysian version of the Hollow Man. If you haven't watched the movie, please don't watch. It sucks. However, that's not why Orang Minyak is on the list. This supernatural entity is also known for committing horrible crimes such as rape, robbery, and even murder. But before the trolls in the internet claim that this is just an ancient story or a legend that's being passed down through stories, think again, as there were reports as recent as 2015 where villagers claim that they have seen a knife-wielding Orang Minyak leaping from building to building. The villagers of a village in Perak claim that they have heard and seen this Orang Minyak for nearly a month and have been trying to capture him ever since, but to no avail. At number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Toyol. I think so you have heard about this creature before in your lives. The name for this creature is translated to goblin in English, but it's not the goblin from the Lord of the Rings movies, mind you. These creatures are much more creepy, menacing, and horrifying. Said to be a spirit of an unborn or small child and evoked from a dead human fetus, the Toyols are traditionally described as a near-naked baby with greenish or brownish skin, large fangs, and sharp ears. Toyols will always have a master, and the masters would usually use these creatures to capture other humans. It is also said that the Toyols would be able to make their masters become rich beyond belief, but there is always a price to pay when it comes to the spirit world. Being a master of a Toyol could bring good fortune for the master himself, but the health of all the master's family members would steadily decline. They will eventually lose everything and then slowly die. The Toyols are evil in their behavior but are of childlike thinking. People use this as an advantage to ensure that Toyols do not enter their homes. They scatter buttons all over the floor, put sweets and toys in between them to ensure that the Toyol would be able to pass on and spare them for another day. And finally, at number 1, we have the horror, possibly the most scariest urban legend in Malaysia today. Remember we were talking about the Karak Highway earlier? Well, that road returns in a more gruesome manner in our list. The story goes like this. A couple were traveling down on that road after attending a friend's wedding. They decided to travel late at night as it would save time, as both of them would have to attend to work tomorrow. Everything was going fine on the journey. The couple were talking about their future family planning as well as getting a new home. But then, signs of trouble started to show up. Of course it would. Why it would be number 1 on our list? Their car, a Proton Vira, began to zigzag violently violently on the road. As they struggled to control it, the engine gave out a last splutter and then died out. The husband was quite shocked as he had just given the car to be serviced the day before, and now they were stranded on the road in the middle of the night with no help in sight, as well as only about halfway through their destination. They tried to start the car over and over again, but to no avail. The husband then decided to try to flag down a passing by car, but there were actually no car in sight. Finally, after exhausting all of the options available, the husband decided to try to search for an emergency telephone. The wife disagreed as she was afraid that the husband might get lost as it was purely dark out there with no streetlights in sight. The husband still reluctantly went and told his wife to stay in the car until he came back with some help. He then disappeared in the darkness of the night. She then waited in the car for what felt like an eternity. She also noticed that the jungle surrounding her was shifting around in the dark, and then suddenly she heard a loud thump sound on the roof of the car. She thought that it might just be an animal landing on the car and decided to ignore it. Then a pair of headlights started to appear from behind her car. It was finally another vehicle traveling down the same road. She was relieved to get some help when she noticed the car slowly approaching her vehicle and then quickly speeding off. She wondered, why did that car do that? And she noticed a few more cars doing the exact same thing. She was starting to feel worried as to where her husband went, as well as the continuous rustling and cracking sound from above the vehicle. She then started to notice a form of liquid flowing down on the side as well as the front mirror of the car. The liquid was some form of thick and red liquid. She was getting really nervous and scared about what was going on top of her roof, and she could not even think of getting out of the car. Finally, a police car showed up and it stopped a few meters away. Two policemen got out of the car with a megaphone in hand, and they asked the woman to get out of the car, back away from the car, walk towards them, and to not look back. When she's walking just a few meters away from the police car, curiosity got the better of her. She turned around and to her horror saw her husband's dead body lying on top of the roof while being eaten by a demonic creature. The creature was feasting on her husband for all those hours the wife was in the car. The wife screamed in horror and despair as the creature began to leap towards them. The policemen fired their weapons at the creature, quickly got the wife out of there, and the legend began. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the 5 scariest Malaysian urban legends. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching our video, and please do let us know what you thought about our video in the comment section below. Please like and also share our video to other social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be watching All You Can Know, and we will see you in the next episode. Ka-ciao, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just finished the shooting, and you know when the end of the shooting means?
It's
a wrap!